Christmas morning in 1975 was an experience defined by the chill of winter and unique traditions now lost to time. Imagine waking up in a bedroom so frigid that you'd swear you were in an icebox, with ice crystals forming on the inside of the windows. This wasn't just another morning. It was Christmas, the day you had been eagerly waiting for. Yet before the joy of presents, there was the simple, almost ritualistic task of clearing the frost from your bedroom window. This wasn't as mundane as it sounds. You would scrape at the frosted glass with your fingernails, or whatever you had handy, perhaps a toy or a key, just to peer outside. This act of revealing the world beyond was the moment Christmas truly began, with magical frost patterns resembling ferns and swirling fairytale designs, each one unique and fleeting. Your breath would miss the window as you leaned close, contributing to the frost. The initial bitter cold of your room made the warmth of the living room that much more precious and welcomed. Downstairs, the paraffin heater was already spreading its warmth, an aroma you could recognize from your bed, signaling that the day was starting. Television was another story entirely. Excited children rising early were met not with cartoons, but with Test Card F, a now iconic image of a girl with a clown. BBC channels did not begin their broadcast until much later, around 9 o'clock or even later. The wait, however, was a build-up of excitement. Families gathered around the TV, even when all it showed was a static card with elevator music or a simple tone. Present time was paused, attention holding onto that card until the screen finally crackled into life. The first appearance of actual content, whether carols or a church service, would be met with cheers. It punctuated the day as officially begun, and the waiting was part of the charm. Outside, Christmas preparations involved the postman's visit days before the holiday. He brought crates filled with heavy glass bottles of fizzy drinks, cream soda, limeade, cherry cola, symbolizing the luxury of the season. The clinking of bottles in the crate, as they were delivered, sounded like festive sleigh bells. Those crates would grace the kitchen, waiting to be opened on Christmas morning. The act of popping open a bottle, hearing the hiss, and savoring that sweet effervescent taste was a tradition in itself. These were serious bottlings, meant to be enjoyed, and were always returned to the crate once finished, ready to be collected for the next cycle. The popman wasn't just a delivery service. He was a part of the Christmas experience, a familiar face who knew the family and contributed to the joy and nostalgia of the holiday season. Throughout the entire year, he made his deliveries with unwavering dedication, but there was something truly magical and memorable about Christmas week. It was a time when his deliveries included not just the usual bottles, but an assortment of extras. Extra bottles, unique and delightful flavors that were eagerly anticipated by everyone in town. These deliveries held a special significance, a charming tradition that brought an added sparkle to the festive season. In today's world, we've become accustomed to the convenience of purchasing plastic bottles from supermarkets. We drink their contents, toss the empty bottles into the bin, and seldom give it another thought. But in those days, when the crate of drinks arrived on your doorstep, it was much more than a mere delivery. It was a momentous occasion. The anticipation of receiving those special treats was part of what made the holiday week so extraordinary, an event that brought families together in excitement. In many households, the coal fire in the living room was the primary source of warmth, spreading its comforting glow throughout the home. Before the coal fire was stoked to life by my father and before the inviting warmth settled into every corner, there was a more immediate necessity on those cold mornings, the lighting of the paraffin heater. It was almost a ritual, a choice that declared your allegiance to either pink paraffin or Esso blue, depending on which brand your family preferred. As the paraffin heater flared to life, the air was filled with its unmistakable scent, a distinctive, slightly oily fragrance that heralded the ignition of its wick. This scent was not just an aroma, it was the embodiment of warmth, a signal that Christmas morning was truly underway. Placed in the room's corner, the heater would emit a gentle glow, valiantly challenging the winter chill. We huddled around it, drawn to its limited warmth, daring to get as close as comfort allowed without risking a burn. Its warmth extended only a few feet beyond, but in that small radius, it provided a cozy haven. That smell, though slightly toxic and stark in its impact, became an indelible part of our Christmas tradition. It was a scent that lingered in memory, weaving itself into the fabric of what Christmas morning signified, a cherished element of our seasonal experience. Paraffin heaters have become relics of the past, brought to an end by stricter health and safety regulations. Yet, for those who experienced their toasty embrace, the memory of their distinct scent and the comforting heat they emitted remains vividly etched in their minds. These heaters were a staple in many homes, providing much-needed warmth in the chilling months. The anticipation of Christmas wasn't just about gifts or festive meals. It entailed an intricate tradition involving the double magazine ritual. Christmas TV was a monumental event, meticulously crafted and eagerly awaited, but the planning required diligence and two essential publications. The Radio Times was dedicated to BBC offerings, while the TV Times detailed ITV's lineup. Getting all the TV listings was no simple task. You needed both magazines. The arrival of these Christmas double issues was a highlight all its own. They appeared spectacularly, thick and glossy, filled to the brim with program schedules. Families gathered around, armed with biros, ready to highlight their can't-miss shows. This was a strategic operation and not without its passionate debates. The year's big film, special broadcasts, and the beloved Morecambe and Wise specials fueled discussions. Each family member had their favourites and must-sees, and these magazines became almost sacred, serving as the household's guide and calendar for the holiday period. Recording shows wasn't an option. There was no pause or rewind feature. If you missed the airing, it was lost until next year, or longer. This made the planning sessions essential. The result was a guide marked with circles and notes, narrating the story of anticipation and family decisions well in advance of Christmas Day itself. As Christmas morning unfolded, amidst the decorated trees and the chilly winter air, a small but significant tradition awaited each child. In every stocking rested a sugar mouse, as rigid as a rock and composed of bright pink or pristine white sugar, complete with a quaint cotton string tail. It wasn't a luxurious item like chocolate or a small toy. Rather, it was a simple, cost-effective treat shaped like a mouse. Despite being possibly stale and acquiring a woolly taste from nights in a stocking, they were an unwavering staple. You'd start by nibbling at the ears, and slowly savor it, piece by piece, over what seemed like an eternity due to their hardness. The sugar mouse, though not extravagant, carried the weight of tradition. Today, these sweets are purchased to recapture childhood nostalgia, but during those times, they were synonymous with Christmas itself. The chaos post-gifting left the living room akin to a whirlwind of vibrant wrapping paper, a carpet of color sprawled across the floor. There was no concern for tidiness. Presents were unwrapped and the paper lay where it fell. This mess didn't linger long, as a customary cleanup began. Dad took up the ritualistic burning of the paper in the coal fire, an act both practical and primal. Handfuls of scrunched-up paper were fed to the flames, invigorating the fire to a roar, as the chimney echoed with its intensity. The air filled with the distinct aroma of smouldering ink and the energy of the expanding flames, probably perilous, certainly enveloped in a smoky haze, but effective in disposal. No bins overflowed, no sacks filled for recycling or curbside collection were needed. The fire consumed it all. Watching the process, paper transforming amid crackles and color changes, was part of the joyous destruction on Christmas morning, fitting and oddly satisfying. Then, as mid-morning settled in, and the initial rush of gift exchanges and ensuing paper carnage dwindled, it was time for Mum's cherished 11 o'clock snowball. After the frenetic morning, Mum treated herself to this festive cocktail. Advocaat blended with fizzy lemonade, a hint of lime cordial, and crowned with a maraschino cherry, red and jolly as holiday lights. For Mum, this wasn't merely a drink. It was an indulgence steeped in tradition, a sophisticated toast befitting the day. The snowball made its annual appearance in its own special glass, one that lay dormant in a sideboard for the rest of the year. Taking her place beside the fire, Mum savoured each sip leisurely, her feet up, basking in the calm before the storm of Christmas dinner. This moment with her snowball was a deserved reward, a pause to relish and reflect after navigating the whirlwind of excited children and the day's early chaos. The drink, a thick concoction with a sweet, vibrant yellow hue, was an odd fixture in many households during the festive season. Adults sipped it with an air of sophistication, as if it were the embodiment of elegance in a glass. Meanwhile, children watched with wrinkled noses, finding its appearance rather off-putting. Yet, it was more than just a drink. It was a symbol of tradition, a signifier that things were unfolding just as they should on Christmas Day. The sight of Mum savouring her snowball was a comforting ritual. It signalled that the hustle and bustle of the morning was easing, and that the much-anticipated Christmas dinner was on the horizon. It was a moment that indicated the festivities were in full swing. Snowballs, with their odd mix of advocaat and lemonade, may be more of a punchline nowadays, but back then, they were a staple, part of the serious business of celebrating Christmas. Then there were the nuts. Every home seemed to have a wooden bowl filled to the brim with a selection of whole nuts, walnuts, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts, all in their shells, which was part of their charm. Unlike today's easily accessible pre-shelled varieties, These required effort and determination to enjoy. Christmas morning was often dedicated to the task of extracting the elusive nut inside. Armed with metal nutcrackers, those plier-like tools that seemed designed for battle, families would sit together and commence their annual war on the shells. The process was messy. Shells would shatter with a crack, sending fragments shooting across the room, embedding themselves in the carpet. Weeks could pass before all the remnants were discovered, the stray walnut shell hidden amongst the fibers of the shag pile, a reminder of the festive struggle. Extracting a whole nut was a triumph, a small victory among many casualties of splintered shells and dusty remnants. Nonetheless, the effort was worthwhile. Nuts were a treat, especially treasured because they weren't readily available throughout the year as they are now. The laborious process of cracking them open made their eventual consumption all the more satisfying, a hallmark of the festive experience that made the Christmas season so special. Throughout the day, the bowl sat undisturbed on the sideboard, slowly emptying as the afternoon wore on. By evening, the carpet resembled a battlefield, a canvas of creative chaos. The thrill of building Airfix models, using that unmistakably strong-smelling glue, was a hallmark of the day. For boys, Christmas morning was often spent unraveling the mysteries of Airfix kits, assembling Spitfire planes, tanks, and destroyers from a plethora of tiny plastic pieces. The room became a workshop, saturated with the potent, unmistakable scent of polystyrene cement, a smell that, though likely shortening your lifespan by years, was ignored in the exhilarating pursuit of creation. Despite the tricky instructions and ill-fitting pieces, despite glue clinging stubbornly to fingers, tables, and sometimes faces, the models gradually came together. This adhesive aroma became an integral part of the Christmas morning experience. While girls were busy styling Cindy dolls with tiny hair rollers, boys navigated through a haze of glue fumes and the assembly of miniature fighter planes. Across households, everyone was engaged in building something. These toys demanded effort. They were a project, a labor of love. They required patience, diligence, and the acceptance that mistakes were inevitable. But we plowed on regardless because the essence of Christmas morning was not just about receiving gifts. It was about creating something with your own hands. At the very bottom of your stocking nestled a net of tangerines, small, slightly dusty, with green leaves stubbornly clinging to their stems. Back then, tangerines were a seasonal delight, not available in July but a cherished Christmas tradition. Discovering that simple net of fruit meant Christmas had truly arrived. You'd peel them slowly, segment by segment, savoring the sweet, sharp flavor. By midday, citrusy peels were scattered over the carpet, adding to the melange of Christmas scents that filled the home. These tangerines, simple and unpretentious, captured the spirit of Christmas in a way that more extravagant gifts never could. Today, tangerines are available year-round, but in the 70s, their presence on Christmas morning was magical, a reminder of the season's uniqueness. And as the day progressed, you'd change from your cozy morning attire into your best clothes. Christmas Day was not a day for lounging in pajamas. By late morning, families would dress in their Sunday best, the new jumper that, though itchy, was special, along with good trousers and your best shoes. Even without guests, this transformation was a mark of respect for the day's significance. Afternoon traditions beckoned, with the Queen's speech at 3 o'clock playing a pivotal role in the day's schedule, each family member gathering in their finest attire. Kids might grumble about the sweaters, but parents insisted on maintaining decorum.